Hi everyone, my name is Jay, and I am a student, a part of the Music Experience Design Lab at New York University. Today we will be interviewing Jesse Rathgeber, is that correct?
Rathgeber.
Rathgeber, who is a colleague of ours from Arizona State University, and we will be asking him some questions about music education and technology. So Jesse, why don't you take a couple sentences to introduce yourself?
Okay, well, I'm Jesse Rathgeber, and as you said, I'm a second-year doctoral student at Arizona State University. Right now, my research interest has to do with the intersection of technology, musical creation, and pop music pedagogy within the lens of disability and critical pedagogy. I'm originally from around Springfield, Illinois, a little tiny town called Auburn, and yeah, that's a bit about me.
Great. So my first question for you is, what is your relationship to music education technology? So just a word or two about what intrigues you and what role you play in the industry right now.
Well, what intrigues me is that I feel technology allows for a lowering of barriers to musical experiences by anyone. That's always been my interest. I remember being like a sixth grader and having internet and downloading Audacity for the first time, and I was able to record my own musical ideas, and like what I didn't know then, it was a remix, but playing around with things like that, I was able to be empowered. So that's one of my biggest things, is that technology allows us to feel empowered and be able to access musical experiences that we might not otherwise have access to.
Excellent. So those experiences transfer, I would say, to why you think music ed tech is important in school. So why don't you talk about maybe some challenges or how you implement it in your own classroom?
So being here at the university, a lot of my implementation of technology has to do with asking pre-service music educators to rethink some of the musical experiences they had in their lives and think about how technology might augment it or reconceptualize it. A lot of times, technology can be used to just kind of replace something that they already did, which is one use of technology, but a lot of times it requires the students to rethink what music making might mean. Yesterday I brought out a bunch of makey-makeys and Scratch and some little bits to a class called The Arts Around Us. We've been talking about the role that art plays in our lives and trying to decide what art means to each of us. And these students all of a sudden had this experience that they had to play. They had to think about art from a perspective that was about participating. So they had to reconceptualize what art meant to them. In schools outside of the university, ed tech is playing a role in doing something similar, and hopefully reconceptualizing music learning spaces as a place where it is about an experience, and not about training or enculturating us about knowing how to fit in already established music traditions.
Excellent. That's great. That gives people a lot to think about. If you could give one piece of advice to music teachers about using ed tech with students with disabilities, what would it be?
It's probably the same advice I give them about using music ed tech, or using anything with students. Know the students. Get to know them on a personal level. A lot of times individuals with disabilities or the uniquely able are stigmatized by this label that they're given. They are a child with Down syndrome. And so then teachers often go and they look up Down syndrome and they try to find out, well, how does this person function? How will this person do this? But it's not as if this label means that every student who has that label will be that same person. And so you have to get to know the students that you with whom you work. And sometimes that's hard, because sometimes it's not as simple as just asking them, hey, what music do you like, and what ways would you like to create music, and what ways can you think of that you can be able in our classroom? a lot of times it's just doing music with them. It's entering an experience and just having that with them.
Fantastic. And one sort of fun question to conclude this interview: if you could play one instrument at an expert level, what would it be and why?
I feel like I'm going to give you like such a hassle answer. So I'm not a big ist fan, like being a violinist or a guitarist. So I don't know if I'd ever pick one instrument. I kind of just want to be a really good musical being. I'd want to be proficient at thinking multiple ways through music. I know it's kind of a cop-out answer, but yeah, I mean, just exploring every kind of instrument and what it can afford me personally. That's more meaningful to me.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for your time, Jesse. We really appreciate it, and have a great rest of your afternoon.
You're welcome.